Part 16 of Haunted by Chuck Palahniuk. So Australia is on fire right now, and last weekend I made the best purchase of my life. It's a ringtail possum puppet. Look how cute that is. He's gonna become my whole personality. Oh yes, it's all coming together. So we concluded our little Chef Assassin's crime confession / knife review, and we go back to them, plating the section pieces of Comrade Snarky's meat. So Chef Assassin only cut pieces of her buttocks and thighs, and all they had were paper plates. So popped it in the microwave, meat was cooked, and they were plating all of her meat bits and serving it to everybody. As their, chef's kiss, compliments to the chef, scarfing it down, in walks a bloodied, delirious Comrade Snarky. Everyone's just shoveling steaks of Snarky in their mouths, and they stop, and then they look over, seeing a exhausted and bleeding Comrade Snarky, walking in the room. They just stare at her. They didn't cut up her entire body. It was just the legs, and then they were too hungry to finish. She's just like, you have food? You have food. It smells like bacon in here. Well, give me some. She walks on over, takes a paper plate, pops open the microwave where two steaming hunks of her own flesh. She plates it and starts eating it, as she didn't notice the rose tattoo that she had on her butt printed into the meat that she's eating. She's looking at it, she's still chewing away, and she's, oh, this is really good. It looks kind of familiar. And everyone else is just staring. I thought she was dead. I thought she was dead. What the fuck? She didn't really notice that she was injured and bleeding all over the place. And then she finally registered that it was her tattoo. As soon as she sat down on the couch, she just kind of shifting around in her seat, noticing that there was a bit of pain and things were not as centered. She looks down on the couch and there's blood everywhere. Finally, the blood loss kind of hits her, and she's just like, what the hell? I just fainted. I wasn't dead, I just fainted. You ate my ass. You guys ate my ass. And then she just slumped over in the couch, and she just died. Nobody said a word. And now a backstory of Comrade Snarky. So due to the status of the world and people's opinions right now, this story kind of hit on another level. I'll keep up with the narrative of keeping things as vague as possible. So Comrade Snarky runs a women's only safe space in the back of a bookstore. Every Wednesday, a group of women gather and have meetings or talk about trauma and kind of keep themselves safe from a world of men. So Comrade Snarky and a couple other women kind of run the group and have to allow specific people in, women only. So they're used to telling men to get lost, if people's abusive husbands come lurking around and they're like, I want in, I want to hear what my wife's talking about. They're like, get the hell out of here. No, get out of here. Or you get the shitheads that are like, oh, I'm gonna come in and disturb the peace. They're just like, nah, we know what you're doing. Get out. Go on, get you here. Don't you come back. So I'm sure you know where this is. With a group that only caters to women, you gotta say no to particular people. And the story opens up where a trans woman would like to be a part of this group. Comrade Snarky and the other women who are in charge of letting people in and, saying, were interrogating Miranda, was her name. And they're like, let's see your driver's license. Let's see Paul Allen's driver's license. And the driver's license said female. And they're like, no, that's not good enough. Let's, what other identification do you have on you? What's your name? Oh, my name is Miranda. And the story, described what she looked like, what her plastic surgery looked like. Pretty hateful things were said. And then they're just, judging her. Let's see your birth certificate. Oh, I didn't think I needed that coming in. I don't. Why can't I come in? Well, because we know you're not real. You're not a real woman. So there was a back and forth a little bit of, trying to get rid of her. But eventually they caved and they're like, all right, fine. Miranda, you can come in and join the group, I guess. So they let her in the group, and immediately everyone just treated her like shit. They all just looked down on her and made snide comments about the way she looked, the way her plastic surgery looked, the clothes she wore, how that it was almost like peacocking a little bit to show a specific type of way, I guess. And Miranda wanted to speak in the group, and she was kind of talking about her, oh, I'm trying to get with a guy in the office, and he doesn't really want to be seen with me because, this and this reason. And everyone's like, oh, sorry, we don't really want to hear about your dating history. Nobody fucking cares. We're here to talk about our horror stories as women. And then Miranda just says, I guess I don't really have any horror stories at the moment. And the group was just like, of course you don't. Well, then we don't want you here. If you don't have horror stories, we don't want you here. You're just a man's fantasy. You've just constructed your body to look the way men want women to look. You don't belong here. Miranda was just taken aback, like, oh, I thought this was like a women supporting women type of thing. And then they're like, you're full of shit. Show us your tits then. Those aren't real. Show us your chest. And then what follows in the story is the most outrageous and most upsetting display of hatred that I've read in a long time. And I read splatterpunk, so there's a lot of just crazy shit you listen to. But this was just sad. And if you're a survivor of abuse or assault, this was hard to listen to. They pretty much forced Miranda to expose herself. They blocked all the exits. They surrounded her, and they're like, you show us your chest. And crying and saying, no, I don't want to, had to. And then all the women were just laughing and giggling, and they were grabbing her and feeling her. And they had comments like, oh, wow, your surgeon did a really good job. And Miranda's like, no, can you please stop? This is fucked up. I want to go now. And they're like, oh, wow, I wonder what the rest of you looks like. They held her down on the table, forced off all of her clothes, poked and prodded her, and really examined her body. Screaming tears, Miranda pleaded and begged to go, and these women just laughed at her and mocked her, and like, oh, you don't have any horror stories of being a woman. And they're like, oh, wow, your surgeon did a great job. This almost looks like the real thing, but like, it doesn't look like, mine or hers, not like a real woman's body. And Miranda just like traumatized. And then finally, after literally like 30 minutes of just the story described so much raw emotion, like down to the absolute detail of Miranda's body, to the women who were inflicting this damage. And finally, one of the women who was holding a flashlight, really up in her business, stopped everything, and she's like, what are we fucking doing right now? What are we doing? This group was meant to be a safe space. Who are we right now? What are we doing? This isn't what we're about. They let Miranda go, and the story just kind of ended.